Welcome everybody. This is Microsoft 365 and Power Platform weekly community call. This is the September 2nd, and this is the with Microsoft speakers. And what that means is that we are having Microsoft people telling you how to use the services and how the services and products and capabilities have been built. So the Tuesday call, 8 a.m. Pacific time, is the Microsoft with Microsoft presenters, and then 7 a.m. on Thursdays is with community presenters. So we do have always two different calls every single week to participate. If you're interested, you can always check the agenda advance or check the recordings afterwards, if depending on your interest on these calls. Now, today it is like I said, it's September 2nd. My name is Ayça Juvonen. I'm a principal product manager for Microsoft, and we do have a really cool demos today. We'll start the agenda with a typical recap on what's actually happening, quick recap on all of the events. We'll do a together mode picture together as well, and then we go to the actual stars of the day, who are Rabia Williams, Ayça, and Giorgio Ughini. Rabia is going to talk about Declarative Agents with TypeSpec. She will, of course, first guide us through what is an agent, what is Microsoft 365 Copilot, and all of that stuff, and then we go to the actual technical details. What is a Declarative Agent? What does TypeSpec actually mean? But all of that is getting clarified there. Then Ayça is going to talk about creating a custom engine agent to Microsoft 365 Copilot Chat. So what is a Copilot? What is Copilot Chat? I'm pretty sure that she will actually explain all of that within her section. And then Giorgio is going to talk about using SPFx as a SharePoint framework to surface Copilot Studio agents directly within a SharePoint. So this is really cool extension built with SPFx provided to you by Microsoft, which can then be used within any SharePoint site to expose Copilot Studio agent there in the UX of SharePoint. There's multiple nuances on that as well. We're going to talk about that one in the call. Now, before we go to those stars, a quick recap on all of the different assets which we have available for you to take advantage. So we do have our YouTube channel, that's Microsoft Community Learning Videos channel at the AKMS Community YouTube. We have our LinkedIn location where you can follow up on updates. You will get the agendas and all of that shared in LinkedIn. We also have a lot of open source assets. So if you're into development, you can stay up to date on what's actually happening in GitHub from those locations. And we, as it might be a bit difficult to follow up on all of the samples in the individual repos, we also have our sample galleries, and these are really convenient locations. You can go to a URL, find a text box. You'll find that, hey, I'm interested in Copilot prompts, and poof, you will get the prompts. Well, I'm interested in Copilot prompts related on meetings or meeting optimizations, and you just use the text box and you can find those samples from SPFx, GitHub, Teams, prompts, and all of that stuff from one centralized location at the AKMS Community Samples. A lot of URLs, a lot of different options available to stay up to date. Only one URL to remember, or two, depending on both of them go to the actual same location, AKMS Community Home or community.ms, whatever is your preference on that. Now, we do have quite a few community calls, like mentioned. We do have the 8 a.m. Pacific time on Tuesdays, which is this call today. So thank you for being part of this call. And then on top of that, we do have a Power Platform monthly community call and Office Add-ins monthly community call. Power Platform monthly community call is with community presenters, Office Add-ins with Microsoft presenters. And then we have our 7 a.m. Thursday series, which currently is either Microsoft 365 Power Platform Community bi-weekly call or SharePoint Framework bi-weekly call. Now, we're looking into potentially merging these to a single call to make some clarity on what are the topics which are getting covered. So every single Tuesday, Microsoft presenters, every single Thursday, community presenters cross Microsoft 365 and Power Platform. That will probably make it a bit more easier to understand all of the different options which are available for you to take advantage. Now, you can always download the recurrent invites at AKMS Community Calls URL, and we use the Meetup service to always publish the agendas advance. So, for example, this week's calls were already published in the last Wednesday, so you can always check advance on which are the calls which are interested in joining, and then organize your calendar and agenda based on that. Now, for a lot of these calls, like mentioned, we do welcome community presenters. So right yesterday, we announced new set of MVPs, September 2025 MVPs. Welcome to new MVPs from MVP groups, Microsoft most valuable community people. And this is a great way of actually getting those acknowledgements. So if you are interested in getting MVP status, or if you want to practice your presentation skills, volunteer for a demo. We will even guide you through that demo process, so give you insights and guidance on how to do those demos in practice. Only thing what you need to do is sign up for the form, and then we'll contact you and assign you a slot in the upcoming calls. AKMS Community Request Demo is the URL. Great option to get some exposure and show what you built. Doesn't have to be rocket science. Getting started stuff, definitely welcome. Most of us don't know the basics on many of the products. I would need definitely guidance on many things on getting started as well. Now, we do have a lot of material to get started on Microsoft Cloud across different areas. Microsoft 365 Power Platform, you can find all of those modules and learning modules for free from learn.microsoft.com. Great assets to get started and getting step-by-step guidance on learning how to get started on the Microsoft Cloud different capabilities. I did already mention the different samples which are available from the sample gallery. The centralized big one, the unified sample gallery, is at Microsoft Community Samples, and this is where you're going to find Microsoft Entra ID samples, Copilot Studio samples, Power App samples, Microsoft List samples, and form customizer samples, many samples available for you to take advantage. And you can actually also contribute, which is a great option as well. Now, if you are into this AI process and you're looking into, for example, testing around Copilot or using the GitHub Copilot and you have access on it, you can actually tap into the MCP server, which is tapped into the information about the sample gallery. So this is a great way of getting insights on which samples might actually be useful for you as a reference point when you're doing development, for example, for SharePoint Framework or Microsoft Teams or Copilot, it doesn't really matter. But you can actually tap into that gallery using our sample MCP server super easily. Now, when you find the sample in a GitHub, you might be thinking on, okay, I want to pull it down, or maybe I'm wondering on, maybe I want to contribute back on my cool sample. How would I actually do that? That's why we have a Sharing is Caring initiative, which will help you to get started on your journey within the Microsoft communities. We have David Warner directly from LA, Hollywood, almost Hollywood, pretty close by, on Hollywood, explaining what is Sharing is Caring all about. David, take it away.
Yes, thank you, Vesa. In fact, I am live here, friends, from the Hollywood Walk of Fame. No, I'm kidding. I'm just in my house. But as best as I close enough. We are so excited because we finally are locking in on the dates here. We're going to get them scheduled multiple months in advance for our Sharing is Caring. And if you're wondering what is Sharing is Caring, as Vesa alluded to, it's a hands-on opportunity to learn how to contribute. So if you want to learn how to submit some of those prompts, there are very easy ways you can become the prompt of the week, which you'll hear about in a moment. And it's an opportunity to contribute. But that GitHub can be a little confusing labyrinth of terms and phrases like fork and blame and raw and pull request. And what does all that mean? We will demystify it for you. And it is live, which means we'll walk through the actual contribution together in a safe space. So we're not recording. You can ask any and all questions you want without fear of it going on record. Because honestly, sometimes we get afraid that if we're asking a question, it's going to go on record and everyone will think, well, how do they not know the answer to that question? Well, you only know the answer to the question by asking it. So we want everybody to feel comfortable in doing so. So be on the lookout. We're going to get that scheduled here. We're finally locking in dates for the next few months, and we'll have that by the end of the week, I promise. Now, once you do contribute, we want to recognize you for all the amazing work that you're doing. And that is where our Best in Class recognition program is available, and it is recognizing the amazing work you're doing. It is considered best in class, not by us, but by Credly, who is actually identifying it as a best in class program. All these badges are accredited. They are real. You can have a profile. We've got things like the recruit going on right now with the Agent Academy list formatting. We've got our superhero season, so you can get this Porcupine Rises bonus badge. And just this morning, guess what we were working on? Oktoberfest. Right around the corner. So we're going to have that
October season starts. I know, David. I know.
I'm so excited. Yeah, we're going to, so we're going to have Oktoberfest going up. And of course, all the other season of getting, slice of samples, all those fun end of the year badges will be back. They are real. They are accredited. So show them off, share them proudly because they show you're making a difference in the community. Absolutely free of cost, no charge at all. ak.ms/community/recognition is where you need to register, and we will track the amazing work you're doing. Vesa, back to you in the Finwood Studios. Finwood Studios? We should call it Finwood Studios.
Finn Studios. That's actually really good. That's catchy. I guess so. Thank you, David, on that one. And Finland Studios taking over. So quick recap on all of the upcoming events. So TechCon 365 at techcon.365.com. You can get details on there. Seattle, Atlanta has already been done this year. Dallas is coming up in November 3rd to 7th, 2025. Do check out all of the different sessions over there. We also have the Power Platform Conference, the 4th annual Power Platform Conference coming up in Las Vegas in October 28th to 13th with pre and post workshops. So these are great options to you to also stay up to date on the guidance from Microsoft around the Power Platform AI and Copilot AI builders and the Power Automate. And there's so much cool stuff on Copilot Studio as well there. So a lot of us will be in Las Vegas. Now, after the Las Vegas in October, we will be having Ignite happening in San Francisco Moscone Center in November 18th to 21st with a optional pre-day in November 17th. This is both in person and online, and so there will be some special sessions will be only in person. Most of the sessions will be online as well, so you can actually join this from home directly from https://ignite.microsoft.com if you don't want to fly over to San Francisco. And then the last bigger season of the 2025 will be the bigger conference in 2025 will be ESPC happening in Dublin from 1st to 4th of December. Really great venue. We've been there in the past as well. More details on that at www.sharepointeurope.com. Then in next spring, we already know that the European Collaboration Summit is happening the 5th to 7th of May 2026. For anybody who's wondering on speaking, for example, in here, or be like, maybe I should actually start my speaking career, this call for speakers for European Collaboration Summit actually opened yesterday. So please do check out details from ecs.events. You can find all of those details there as well. Now, on top of this, we do have a lot of different events happening all around the world in a different locations. Some of them might have a small cost. Some of them, most of them are free. Some of them might be hybrid. Some of them are online. Some of them are in person. But do take advantage of the communitydays.org website, which lists all of the different events all around the world from a one centralized location. Really cool option to stay up to date on this. Now, before we go to the Together With picture, a quick recap on all of the different news. Last week, we actually had a super slow week and not that many news. And this week, we're getting a bit more announcements within the past 7 days, which is really cool. A lot of new updates, all the monthly updates on the Copilot, Microsoft 365 Copilot, and also on Microsoft Teams. And just to call out a few deprecations on the Microsoft Craft Toolkit, and Craft CLI. And then we also, April Dunham had a great announcement, actually 1.5 weeks ago, already announcing Copilot Studio Agent Academy. Great initiative as well for anybody who's looking into learning in the Copilot Studio details. Now, we also do have a few other updates. So we do have the Copilot prompt library at AKMS PMP prompt library. So if you want to learn into how to use prompts to make the Copilot to work for you. And we always acknowledge the weekly prompt of the week. And this week, the prompt of the week is from Saurabh Agrawal around providing insights and inputs for the annual performance appraisal or review. This is a great example of using the Copilot for your benefit. So technically asking the Copilot to go through your emails and things and then give insights on what have I actually done. At least my memory, maybe it's the age, I don't know, my memory is getting bad. I don't remember what I did last week. So having something like this helps me to always justify the results with my manager and having those discussions. So definitely great example on that prompt. Awesome job on there, Saurabh. Also, one thing what I wanted to call out on the Power Platform Community Conference, we are looking into doing a world record as the biggest hackathon over there. So if you are joining on the Power Platform Community Conference on the 29th of October, we're planning to have more than 2,000 developers building more than 100 agent-driven solutions within this 5 hour of hands-on hacking. So this is a shot of making history as the biggest hackathon within the world in a single room. So great option for those who are actually traveling in the Las Vegas. So this is happening as part of the Power Platform Community Conference. Super news thing. I don't think we have announced this externally yet, except this one. Now we have. And also, if you are doing development on SharePoint framework, or if you have done any SharePoint framework development in the past, please fill in a form. Or if you're wondering on, maybe I was interested in doing SPFx, but then something happened and I didn't like X and Y and Z, please give us feedback. So give us input related on what do you think about SharePoint Framework and how it could be improved. We are running this survey right now for SharePoint Framework until 10th of September. We're already in hundreds of submissions, which is great. But please fill in the form. We really want to hear how we can improve that one as well if you're using that. But then before we go to the actual demos of today, let's do a quick group photo and all together for those who are willing to enable the camera. And I will move in the together mode picture into the screen and we'll wait a while. It is pixel perfect. Like I say, Rabia on the front row. It's pretty late for you, but still energized. That's really good. Always smiling. That's really cool. But let me actually adjust the recording and double checking that I'm recording the right screen. Gonna be the first time when I'm actually recording accidentally a wrong screen in Camtasia. So we do have 50 seats in the room. So let's see if we can get a few more people enabling the camera. And Ayça is in the front row as well. And Giorgio is in the second row. A lot of familiar faces there. Xiao almost on the second last row. No new faces. It might be that there's always a delay in the Teams, how it's actually picking up the cameras. I know that we're always getting the feedback on it didn't show me. But maybe we'll have to start the recording so we give more time for the developers. So 3, 2, 1, let's do some hand waving, everybody. Thank you for being part of the community. Thank you for being here. We'll share this GIF animation in the social media. Thank you for being here. And one more, don't give up, one more. Let's go. Excellent. Thank you everybody for joining. Awesome to see you in this calls. And even though we work and live pretty far away, these kind of tools are awesome to feel being part of the community. So awesome to see you here. Excellent. So I will actually move that away from here. And then we go back on the normal schedule of today. So we'll start with Rabia, because it is pretty late for Rabia. She can actually tell what's the time when she starts presentation. And then we move to Ayça, and then Giorgio will be the last one of today. But Rabia, I can see the screen. I can see the video. Take over the screen and we'll be good to go.
Thank you, Ayça. Thank you, David. Hey, everyone. It's 1:17 here in Australia. So
in the morning, yes, or in the night,
yes.
Or evening, yes. Anyway.
No, in the night, in the morning, yes. So yeah, I'll start off. So today I'm going to be demoing a declarative agent with using TypeSpec, and I'll talk about it in a second. So my name is Rabia Williams, and I'm a cloud developer advocate at Microsoft. So we'll start off with Microsoft 365 Copilot. It's an AI-powered productivity tool that uses large language models and integrates your data, your Microsoft data, Microsoft 365 apps data, etc. Copilot uses your company or your org's data to answer questions, but it is also designed for general use. So if you want to tailor it to focus on specific data, or if you want to give it a specific task to do, then you need to do some optimization. So to do that, we create agents. So an agent is simply a conversational AI that chats with users, answers questions, performs tasks for you, also in a familiar chat interface. And declarative agents, that what we're going to see today of my sample is Microsoft 365 specialized version of agents. They use the exact same infrastructure as Microsoft 365 Copilot, same foundation model, security, reliable experience as if you've already used Copilot. And the key advantage is you can customize them with specific instructions for performing these particular tasks and give them access to your specific data, add special capabilities, etc. So just to quickly recap, imagine if you're part of this HR team and your department maintains employee policies and other documents, maybe FAQ guides stored in SharePoint library. And also you have employee requests that you can make through a HR management system. And you want to create an agent, sort of like a HR assistant that helps employees quickly find answers about benefits or leave policies, workplace procedures, without flooding all this in one chat. So since policy documents are in SharePoint, and it can be complex as well. I've read some of these legal documents, and they have all these terminologies that you probably don't understand as a regular user, and you want assistance to translate that information into clear everyday language, and can understand what it is. You also want these employees to be able to submit HR requests through your agent once they've understood things. So you can build a declarative agent here in this scenario, and that can access your policy library in SharePoint and also connect to your HR system through API to handle this information. So this is basically, in a nutshell, what it solves. By default, these agents only access foundation models. To use your organization data, you must specify the different data sources like Teams message. So these capabilities that you see here, Teams message, emails, OneDrive files, and SharePoint, like we discussed in that previous scenario. You could also enable web search for real-time internet information. Now, Copilot connectors in this capability brings external system data into Microsoft 365, making it searchable and available for your users as well, or for your agent. Now, actions, on the other hand, what we're going to see today, it lets agents perform tasks on your behalf with external systems through the APIs. Like, for example, in our scenario that we discussed, maybe submitting a leave request or updating employee records, etc., could be an action that's performed by your agent on your behalf. So, for example, if your instruction is translate, this policy language into employee-friendly response, then what the agent does, it goes and gets the HR policy documents, FAQ guides from SharePoint, etc., and its action would be connecting with the HR management system. Now, today, we're going to see in the sample as well, not a HR scenario, but it's a consulting company called Trey Research. And then we have all these consultant information, and you have project information. You can bill your hours as a consultant to a project, etc. So I'm just giving you the scene or the context of the sample that we're going to see. Now, this sample is built and run using Microsoft 365 Agents Toolkit. This is an extension that's available for pro code developers who love to work on code in Visual Studio Code. It is also available in Visual Studio, but today what we're going to see is using the extension in Visual Studio Code. So it basically simplifies the developer experience of building declarative agents. And it also offers templates, different templates. The toolkit offers these templates for different types of agents. So declarative agent, and there are many other different types of agents that you can build. It simplifies the development process, so you can quickly, create one, publish, and maintain that whole app lifecycle as a developer. So that's the whole point of using Agents, Microsoft 365 Agents Toolkit. Now, as you build more and more agents for Copilot, you'll notice that the final output is basically a set of files bundled into a zip file. And we call that app package. And you'll install and use it. That's how it is. So it's important that you have a basic understanding of what that app package consists of. The app package of a declarative agent is very similar to Teams app. If you have ever built, if anyone in this room have built Teams app before, then you might understand it. It's got similar elements, but it has additional elements as well. So on the left side, you can see that the standard M365 app package file, which is just a manifest file, a JSON file, which defines all the standard app manifest details, and then you have the two icons images, and on the right hand side you have the declarative agent related manifest files that's needed. So you have agent manifest.json, which is your declarative agent manifest. It contains the agent name, instruction, all that capabilities that we discussed, like Teams messages, etc., code interpreter, image generation, all that information. Then you have conversation starters, and if you've got any actions, it's also included in the declarative agent manifest. You have plugin manifest.json, which will, again, used by Copilot to understand more about, okay, or what are the operations or functions that you're going to connect with for your API calls. It also includes authentication information. And if you want really fancy, rich card response from your agent, you can add adaptive card response into this plugin manifest file. It is, again, a JSON file. And then finally, we have the OpenAPI spec, which is a standard OpenAPI specification document, either in a JSON or a YAML format, which defines your API. So your server details, your different endpoints, parameters, all that information. That is standardized Swagger information, if you want to call that. That is in the OpenAPI spec document file as well. So obviously, that's a lot of files. For a developer, you have to juggle with these multiple files while you're updating an API. And anyone in this room has ever tried to update a YAML file, you know what a pain it is. So that's a lot for a developer. So that is why we have introduced a more declarative approach to building agents using TypeSpec to basically simplify and help people from editing YAML and going crazy. So what is TypeSpec, right? So it's a language developed by Microsoft for designing and describing the API contracts in a structured and type-safe way. Think of it like a blueprint for how an API should look and behave, including what data it accepts, returns, and how different parts of API and its actions are connected. So, you know, if anyone in this room loves TypeScript over JavaScript, then it kind of enforces structure in your front-end and back-end code. That's what TypeScript does. So if you love that, you love TypeSpec, which enforces structure in your agents and its API services like actions. Now, it fits perfectly if you are a design first person. You want to design everything and then go ahead and work on your agent. So the benefits, clear communication. So you have this one TSP or a TypeScript file, which is a single source of truth written in a structured, very code developer friendly way. And that would in turn generate all these other manifest files that's needed in the app package. Consistency, it ensures that all parts of your agent and its actions and capabilities are designed consistently enough following a pattern. Then automation friendly, that's one of the biggest, because it automatically generates all these files for you. You just have to maintain those source truth files. Early validation, so if there are any issues, it will catch early from your design. Then again, to wrap it up, it's a design first approach, so it encourages developers also to think through the API structure and contracts before jumping in and implementing something. So with that, I'm just gonna stop with the presentation. I think we have an understanding by now, and go into the demo. So I have my project running in here, and I will take you through the projects in a second, but let me just go and show you the demo of Trey Genie. Now, we call this Trey Genie because, like I said, the company's name is Trey Research, and we have consultants, projects, and all that information, and this Genie would give us all the information that we need. So I already have installed it, and I'm going to go ahead and click on one of the conversation starters and see what it gives me. So what projects am I assigned to? You might think that it would come up with my name, but it does not have an authentication system built in yet for this sample. But there are resources that you can go through in the README file when I give you the link to the sample that's in the gallery. So you can go ahead and check out how to do authentication as well. So it has brought back my projects, and apparently I am Avery Howard, who's the default logged in user. And it gives this motto, always be billing, and all those things. So as you can see here in the terminal as well, it has gone ahead and called the me endpoint for me. And I had mentioned that it should always say always be billing. This is just to show you how this is the instruction that is sent into the agent, and it exactly follows that. Now let's go ahead and see another call. For example, okay, charge 10 hours to say Woodgrove project. Okay, the project name is not even Woodgrove. I'm just gonna send the client name and see what happens. It should ideally, if demo gods are good, it should do this. So it will confirm with me because it's a post operation. It's an agent and assistant, but it doesn't have the capability to go ahead and perform an actions without checking with you first. So it goes ahead and asks for confirmation, and it should call the post endpoint for me today. So yep, it looks like it has done the job. And it has also come back with an adaptive card. Now let's go back and see what happened. So it went ahead and called the post call for me. It understood that the project name is financial data plugin. That's good. So it looks like it's working. Now, there are a few things. I've turned on the agent debugger mode on by just typing in developer on in my chat. I've already done that. I don't need to do that again. But as you can see, this will give you some information on, okay, what calls for our operations were being called by my agent and its response, etc. All this information will be available to you. It's nice if you're developing to keep this on and check, if it's doing the right thing. So that's the demo. And I just want to quickly go back to the code and show you the files. So this is the TSP file. Like I said, this is a very, and I will show you the file you should probably work with if there was no TypeSpec. So this is agent name, description, instruction, conversation starter. And here are the 3 operations that you also saw in that agent debug information. I'll quickly show that again. So these are the 3 operations available for your agent, and it chose the right one. Thanks to your instruction and all that other information. So this is being defined here. Now, these actions are defined in the actions.tsp file. If you come here, you will see the server information. You'll see the different endpoints, the cards, the adaptive card I'm using for this particular calls, data model of these data, etc., defined in here as well. So this is a very code developer friendly way of doing things, and it generates what we call these files. So the declarative agent JSON file that we discussed earlier, the API, the plugin manifest file, which is this. It has all the information. This is used by Copilot to understand things about your agent's capability. And then there is the spec file, the YAML file that you would have had to write on your own if it weren't for TypeSpec generating this for you. So this is basically the demo to show you the benefits. And let me just quickly show you. Oh, that was my recorded one in case I'm not able to do it on live. So this is the sample that's available. Go check it out. This is the aka.link, but it's in our samples gallery. So go ahead and check out this sample. Thank you so much.
Excellent. Thank you, Rabia, on that one. Awesome work on that one. And AKMS TypeSpec Trey Research. I think the link is already in the chat for people to take advantage of that one. Thank you, Paolo, also sharing the links. Awesome job. Thank you, Rabia, for staying late and really shows the passion you have on the community as well. So thank you for doing that. Now, then Ayça is already sharing the screen. We are right on the schedule, and this is looking good. Ayça, we can see you. Take it away.
Thanks, Vesa. Thanks, Rabia. Awesome presentation. Hi, everyone. My name is Ayça Bush. I'm a cloud developer advocate at Microsoft in the same team with Rabia and Paolo. So this is full cloud advocacy circle today. So we are finalizing our mini series in the Copilot Developer Camp New Labs. So in the past 2 weeks, not back to back, but past 2 weeks during the summer, we actually had a couple of sessions about our new labs in Copilot Developer Camp called Build Your Own Agent with Microsoft 365 Agents SDK and Semantic Kernel. And today we are going to cover the last demo of the mini series we had. Before I jump into the topic, I just want to highlight that in Copilot Developer Camp, we have series of videos and labs available for you, not only for custom engine agents and pro code, but we also have content for Copilot Studio and all sorts of types of agents you can build for Microsoft 365 Copilot. So if you're a professional developer or a maker, whichever pathway is more suitable for you, you can check Copilot Developer Camp pathways and pick the ones which is more convenient for your scenario. So these are all the labs we have, and according to the chart we have, you can pick and choose which pathway is the best for you. In this session and in the past 2 sessions as well, we were focusing on custom engine agents with Microsoft 365 Agents SDK. These labs are focusing on the agents we create using custom models, knowledge, and custom orchestration with semantic kernel. And we were able to test the agent in multiple channels such as Microsoft Teams, Copilot, or you can bring the same agent in different channels too. And how do we do that is, just to recap what we discussed in the previous calls, we do all that using Microsoft 365 Agents SDK. This SDK basically helps us build the agents the way we want, using any model we want. For example, you can bring the model you want using Azure AI, or you can directly consume the models from anywhere else. You can also integrate some of the plugins or skills you've already had in Copilot Studio. There is an easy connection between pro code and low code using the Agents SDK. And in the end, after you design your own agent, you can publish the same agent in multiple channels using the Agents SDK as well. That's the benefit of utilizing the Agents SDK. And when we look at the architecture of custom engine agents, if we need to go a little deeper, what we actually build behind the scene. First of all, custom engine agents are designed, it's in the name, it's custom. That means that, first of all, we are using pro code to design these agents, and we need some sort of a framework, orchestration framework for this agent to orchestrate in a way that you want, because in the enterprise ready agent, you might need to use multiple APIs as tools, multiple knowledge resources behind the scene. It can be, let's say, Azure AI Search, some of the APIs, and some of the existing data sources you already have. So in this complex architecture, we will need some sort of an orchestrator behind the scene. That orchestrator can be semantic kernel, LangChain, or any orchestration of framework of your choice. And then, in addition to that, you may need to bring a model of your choice, because here we are not relying on Copilot's model and orchestration. Everything is designed customly. And today in one of my meetings, something came up as a responsible AI. That's also the responsibility of a developer when it comes to custom engine agents. If you're building custom engine agents, because we're not relying on Copilot's existing orchestration and model, we should also think about the capabilities we can utilize from Azure AI in terms of content moderation, and so all sorts of responsible AI functionalities we can bring in our agent as well. So everything is designed customly when it comes to custom engine agents. After you bring any AI services you require, as well as any AI models you want, and you can also utilize Azure AI for your data sources. For example, Azure AI Search is a really popular rack resource you can use when it comes to AI agents. And at the end of designing your agent using the framework, orchestration framework plus Azure AI services, the only way of communicating this agent with the other channels is utilizing Agents SDK, especially if you want to test this agent in Microsoft 365 Copilot. So what we did in the previous weeks when building an agent with Microsoft 365 Agents SDK, first of all, we designed our agent in Azure AI Foundry Agent Playground. We basically started from scratch on Azure AI Foundry, and we built the agent, and we basically built the agent using GPT-4o model, and then we connected our agent with a vector store with a bunch of PDFs in it, and we basically used some pre-existing knowledge behind the scene. And then we created a basic bot using Visual Studio. That bot had nothing but just echo feature. Having said that, it's just when I say hi, it replies back saying that echo, you said hi. And also when I say something else, it will echo me something else. And after creating that basic bot without any AI functionality, next, what we did is actually upgrading that bot to a Gen AI powered agent. To be able to do that, we actually installed semantic kernel in the basic bot, and then we connected our own agent from Foundry to our Echo bot. While doing those connections, we utilized semantic kernel behind the scenes to be able to connect our agent in the Foundry to the agent, to the bot, the basic bot we had. And behind the scenes, Agents SDK was already wired in the Echo bot, the basic bot we already had. So at the end of these 4 steps, we were able to test our agent in the playground. So the playground is basically the mimic environment for Teams, but also at the end of these 4 steps, we were able to test our agent on Teams as well. Today, we are focusing on bringing the very same agent we started from day one in the Copilot chat as well. So our purpose today is to test the agent in Teams, just like we did in the previous session, and then making minor changes just to be able to bring the very same agent in Copilot chat too. And to do that, I have a very, very short demo for you. So you will all see how easy it is to bring your custom agent from, let's say, Teams or other channels to Copilot with just manifest updates. Okay, let's get started with the demo. So in this demo, I have the agent from last week, and this agent is working already. When we ask, tell me about my perks, it is just working on Teams with all of the streaming and everything. We updated our echobot.cs earlier, so we have all of these functionalities in place already. It's working just fine on Teams. What I want is to see the exact same experience in Copilot. So here, when I click to Copilot, I should be able to see my agent right here. Okay, so let's turn off everything, debugging, and let's start making some changes in our manifest. So I will copy these scripts from Copilot Dev Camp. First thing we will need to update is the manifest version. We will use the latest version 1.22. So I'll just select schema and manifest version and update them to 1.22. And the next and the only change we will need is updating the bot section. So in the bot section, as you can see, we have very plain bot setup. We have everything in default and we have comments very basic. I'll just close this and select the bot section and paste the one I had from the dev camp. And let's see what we have here as a different. We have comments, so these are more helpful comments, so we can ask questions about our data. But most importantly, let's see what we have here, Copilot Agents tag. And we also have custom engine agents tag, and we are using our bot ID type as bot. Let's save everything. And now it's time to test this agent in Copilot chat. So as you can see, the only changes I made was actually the version of the schema, as well as adding the Copilot agents, custom agents tag inside the bot, so that it's going to be defined in the Copilot chat. I should be able to see my own agent in the Copilot chat UI too. I don't need to go through all these, so I'll just close this window. And I have Teams open already here. So what I will do, I'll go to apps, manage your apps, and then upload an app, select upload a custom app. My zip file is already updated after running the app from scratch. I'll select add here. So now we should see an additional button in our agent. We have open and we have open with Copilot. I'll select open with Copilot to be able to open my agent in Copilot chat. And there we go. Our agent is now available in Copilot chat. Let's select one of the bubbles we have right here. It's coming from the manifest. I'll hit the first one. And we should be able to see this similar experience we had in Teams, as well as the agent playground. As you can see, the similar response is coming through Copilot chat as well, and it takes very minor changes to get this agent working in Copilot chat as well. Okay, so this was quick and easy, but this was the last session in the series we had. I highly recommend you to check out our 2 previous sessions in the series too. And if you're interested in testing this agent by yourself and doing the labs from scratch, visit ak.ms/Copilot Dev Camp. You'll find all the instructions. If you have any questions, you can create issues or reach out to us directly. Awesome. So this is all from me for this community call, and back to Bessa.
Thank you, Ayça. Really, really cool. Awesome story and awesome demo as well. Thank you for this one. And an awesome closure for the great series. So please do take advantage of the Copilot Dev Camp. It really talks about the no-code, low-code, pro-code storytelling all up. So awesome offering. Now let's then move into Giorgio. We're going to talk about using SPFx to surface Copilot Studio agent in SharePoint. A lot of agentic stuff on today's agenda. Giorgio, all good to go?
Thanks, Bessa. Thanks.
Excellent. I can see the screen sharing. I can see your screen. I think take it away. All good?
Cool. Okay, so let me introduce myself. I'm Giorgio Ughini, Cloud Solution Architect focusing on Copilot Studio. Today, I will guide you through how to integrate a Copilot Studio agent directly into SharePoint. So let's begin by outlining the main topic. So suppose your organization has already built a Copilot Studio agent, so already built in Copilot Studio. You would like your user to interact with this agent directly on SharePoint site. So you might already be aware of the fact that Copilot Studio allows you to deploy your agent to many channels, including Teams and including SharePoint. So natively, out of the box, you can deploy a Copilot Studio agent into SharePoint. So how do we deploy our agent to SharePoint in the native way? So we are in Copilot Studio. We are in the channel section. We navigated there. Here you will notice the SharePoint button. So we click on the SharePoint button. By clicking this, you can select which SharePoint sites you would like to deploy your agent to. In this example, I'm selecting Giorgio custom SharePoint site. Initially, you will see the agent as not yet deployed, but if you simply click on the deploy button, you will see that the agent becomes deployed. And that means that the agent is now available directly within the selected SharePoint site. The process, as you can see, was straightforward. It was smooth, very quick, and fully supported natively out of the box by Copilot Studio. Now, once the deployment is complete, let's see what the user experience is. So let's go in SharePoint. And in SharePoint, your user can click the Copilot icon, so that the one located in the top right corner in the screen, and they open the sidebar that contains all the agents. And as seen, you have the custom SharePoint sites agent in this case, which is the one approved by the administrator and so on. But now we have also the restaurant agent, which is the agent we just deployed in the previous slide. So this screenshot demo has shown you in 2 minutes, I guess, how to leverage the native SharePoint deployment with Copilot Studio. But why are we here discussing this today? Why am I start talking in a few while about an alternative methods of this integration? Let's take a look at the prerequisites of this approach. So to perform this procedure, you must have right access to the SharePoint sites. Okay, so that's understandable. Last one, so skipping the second, last one. The agent follows Copilot Studio billing policies and consumes Copilot Studio capacity. Also a fair point. Okay, we're fine. Let's now focus on the second. The second says, to use a Copilot Studio agent in SharePoint, your end user, for your end user, one of the following must be true. Either they own an M365 Copilot license, or the SharePoint pay-as-you-go is activated in the Mac, and there is enough capacity to pay for your agents. So this deployment method, the native one, might face challenges in the organization, such organization in which there is no site license for M365 Copilot. So not all the users have an M365 Copilot license. So if some users are missing this license, you must enable the SharePoint pay-as-you-go option. But not all organization wants to do that, especially because enabling SharePoint pay-as-you-go is primarily for the sake of this Copilot Studio agent deployment, is primarily a user interface trigger. Once it's enabled, the Copilot button in the top right corner becomes visible, and your user will be allowed to click on it and to see the Copilot Studio side, the Copilot pane, in which they see also the Copilot Studio agent. So that's primarily a user interface trigger in order to allow the Copilot icon in the top right to appear. Once the icon is there, then you will follow the same Copilot Studio billing and regulation and rules, right? But if the user does not have either the M365 nor the pay-as-you-go activated in their tenant, then they are prevented from using the agent, even if that agent is deployed. So today, I want to introduce a custom component, a custom SPFx that myself and a person from PowerCat, with another team within Microsoft, created to overcome this limitation for that organization that faced themselves in that challenge. This component enables basically the agent directly to be used into SharePoint, even if not all the users are licensed with the M365 Copilot license, and even if there is no SharePoint pay-as-you-go agent activated. So the sidebar that you see in the slide is rendered directly into SharePoint and displays the Copilot Studio web chat experience. It uses a single sign-on, so users don't need to sign in again. Okay, of course. And their authentication happens with Microsoft Entra ID. And even in Copilot Studio, the setting is the main, the normal login with authenticate with Microsoft option. This allows the agent to use features like the graph grounding, for example, which was prevented if you were to use a custom authentication method. And of course, that gives you more relevant responses. And as you can see also in the sidebar, we are using Fluent UI, giving the same look and feel of Microsoft 365 applications. And we also introduced a button in the top right corner, which allows you to start a new conversation without leaving the current page. And it is also an application customizer, so it's grounded to the website and it stays there even while you navigate. From a technical perspective, our integration relies on the M365 Agent SDK. So as said also by Ayça previously, this SDK is basically the evolution of the bot framework, provides a lot of capabilities, some of those highlighted by Ayça before. But in our case, we want to focus on Copilot Studio. So we want to establish a connection from SharePoint to Copilot Studio, enabling the communication and the chat functionality, the activity exchange within SharePoint, the SharePoint framework, of course, and Copilot Studio engine. Specifically, the left-hand repository on GitHub is the main agent SDK, while the one on the right is the JavaScript version, which is the version that we used, as it's the best one for a SharePoint framework component development. That said, it's time for a demo. So let's switch on our Visual Studio Code. This is our repository being cloned. I will share with you the link after at the last slide. I want to comment just 4 files. One of these is acquire token, which is the file that is in charge of acquiring the token for the single sign-on. It contains only one function, acquire token, and it sets the redirect URI as the redirect URI contained into the of the SharePoint site. Also, it sets as a scope Power Platform scope, default scope, because we need to connect to Power Platform in order to trigger our agent, and that's basically it. It triggers the acquire token silent by using MSL, the authentication library of Microsoft. If that fails for whatever reason, it will switch back to the SSO silent. But if this fails again because maybe the refresh token is expired or whatever reason, then the only option for us would be to go with the login pop-up, so the login interactive pop-up, which might also auto-close if there is already a user logged in. And that's it. So this module returns the token. Now a quick look also to the application customizer itself. We have the application customizer sidebar. You see that there are a few components. There is the on-panel DME, so toggle panel, so the opening, the closing, the start new conversation. So a lot of some features right here. But I want to show you a few styling. I want to show you that we are rendering the Copilot icon, line 106, which is basically what prevents us from using the main native deployment option. So we are rendering a new Copilot icon that we styled as the Copilot Studio icon in the top right, in the header of our SharePoint site. And we are also rendering the side panel with all the properties populated. Then the main logic is contained in the chat.tsx component, which is the component that handles the chat, basically. So we initialize the connection by acquiring the token. So we acquire the token with the acquire token function that you saw earlier. Once you have the token, we initialize a setting, a connection setting object, line 55, in which we set the application registration as well as the agent, because you need to give a link to the agent you want to connect to. So you can either use the environment ID and agent identifier, or directly the direct connect URL. Once you have the settings and the token, you're ready to do this call right here. So instantiate a new Copilot Studio client object, which is the object, the client, which allows you to communicate with Copilot Studio. Once you have this object that we call the client, we can call Copilot Studio web chat.create connection and give to them the client itself. The Copilot Studio web chat object is an object provided by the SDK itself, which renders the UI, the beautiful UI. So we did not do that beautiful UI. How to configure our parameters, such as the app registration and so on, in the elements.xml, of course. So you have the space for the client ID, tenant ID, environment ID, and whatever. You can also customize the title, the background color, and a few other styling options. So let me now debug it. So we are running a gulp serve no browser, because I will need to use another browser. And let's verify just that this starts. In the meanwhile, I can show you the agent that we are going to use. This is the restaurant agent. I want you to notice that we created a specific topic to verify, to validate the authentication. So the who am I topic, which is a topic triggered just to verify who am I, and it's returning basically system.user.displayname and a few other variables that are populated only on authenticated scenarios, like the user.language. Let's also verify that this agent is authenticated using Microsoft, which is the main feature. It's super cool, the fact that we're using Authenticate with Microsoft, and you don't need to use any app registration for custom authentication or whatever. And in fact, our agent is using the native, the default setting, Authenticate with Microsoft, right? So that is our SharePoint site. It's using the red theme, the default theme. Let's switch back to Visual Studio Code to see if it's finished compiling. Not yet, so we need to take a few more while. This is our SharePoint sites. One cool feature of the component, as soon as I managed to show you, is the fact that if we go in the settings and we change the look and feel of the site, and we, for example, change the theme from a red one to a blue one or to a teal one, the agent will follow automatically the styling option configured for your website. And this is super, super cool. Now, let's verify if finally Visual Studio Code finished. Good. Not yet. But maybe we can try to see if it's cached. So we need to provide in the URL all the parameters for the connection, because since this is a debugging scenario, we cannot use the elements.xml file because the XML is not bundled into the manifest itself. And since we are debugging, we provide the manifest, which is the output from gulp serve, and we need to provide, of course, the various options. Okay, this means that the manifest may be there, and it asking us if we want to load the debug script. This is of course safe because we are debugging. Of course, in a production setting, this will not happen because it's not a debug manifest. Now we immediately verify that in the top right header, we see the new icon, the Copilot Studio new icon. And if we manage to click on it, immediately, that there is not even the time to see the login, you are authenticated. And in fact, if I ask who am I can immediately verify that I am recognized as Giorgio Ughini, and my default language is English, and so on and so forth, using this UI. And if I want to go in the top right corner right here, there is the button to start a new conversation, and you see that a new conversation is starting. Now, this is the component itself. So as soon as the new, okay, here we are with the new conversation being started. Now it's time to wrap up. So you can find the solution I showed you in the PowerCat sample library on GitHub, specifically under the SharePoint SSO app customizer project. So let's summarize. This approach allows users to interact with a Copilot Studio agent published with Authenticate with Microsoft, even if they lack the M365 Copilot license and your organization does not allow the SharePoint pay-as-you-go. Of course, you will still need to pay for it, okay? So you will still need to consume your Copilot Studio messages, but at least you don't need those prerequisites for the UI rendering of the Copilot icon. The main prerequisites are having an app registration with the Copilot Studio.copilots.invoke permission and setting the SharePoint site's URL as a redirect URI into the app registration itself. And finally, of course, an admin, SharePoint admin of the site must approve the solution to deploy to the SharePoint site. This is the end of the demo. So sample code and instructions are available in the link in the bottom left corner. And so thank you for your attention, and back to you, Vesa.
Excellent. Thank you, Giorgio, on that one. Really, really cool scenario. And thank you for great storytelling on how it works and what's the value out of that. And great preparation. So really, really great job on that. Thank you. Excellent, excellent. So thank you one more time, Rabia. Thank you, Ayça. Thank you, Giorgio. We are 1 minute over time, so we're going to wrap up really fast in here. But few things what we want to always remember. Next Tuesday, we will have at least 2 demos. So Reed Goldberg is going to talk about innovate with apps and agents and documents with SharePoint Embedded. So recapping what the SharePoint Embedded is and what is the latest on that one. And then we have Sarah and Matthew coming to talk about deploy Azure Foundry agent to M365 Copilot. So another pro developer storytelling on the Copilot extensibility and Copilot agents. One of the options, you can definitely do no-code, low-code, and pro-code within the Microsoft 365 Copilot. So that should be really, really cool next week as well. In the meanwhile, feel free to join us on our Discord server. We are closing into 3,000 members in here. Feel free to use it for questions or all of that. There are other people on the community helping on with any of the questions in here. We are always looking for feedback in this calls as well. So if you have time, please fill in the form AKMS community calls feedback. Give us some input related on how we can improve, and more importantly, give us some input to continue to be able to continue this course also in the future, because your input really helps on showcasing the value of this course for our leadership as well. But that's it for now. Recording will be available within our Microsoft Community Learning YouTube channel within 24 hours. LinkedIn, Blue Sky, Twitter, all of that does exist. The next call in September 9th, 8 a.m. Pacific time, same time next week as well. And we do have another call on this week on Thursday on the SharePoint framework. So do check out the meetup, which you can find from the AKMS Community Home URL for agenda details. But that's it for today. See you next week or in the upcoming calls this week. Cheers, everybody. Bye-bye.